welcome to Smaulgld. In case you missed it, top gold and silver stories for the week ended August 27, 2017. Germany and the United States remind the world that they have gold. Germany completes gold repatriation from France, and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and Senate Majority Leader McConnell visit the gold at Fort Knox. Coinbase added 500,000 new accounts last week, bringing their total to 9.7 million. Burger King Russia to issue a Whopper coin. Estonia, Papua New Guinea, and Dubai also in the news, talking about their moves towards blockchain. And a home in the UK sold for 10 million Scot coin. So there's a lot to talk about in the gold and crypto space. Also, Russia's Yandex, which is a search engine in Russia, rolled out a new artificial intelligence search engine. We're going to take a look at that. Let's take a look at this search engine before we get into the gold and silver and crypto stories of the week. So I was intrigued that I saw this article that Yandex had come out with a new search engine that was based on artificial intelligence. It was supposed to be, really what it was supposed to be good at was Russian issues, local issues, things that with artificial intelligence they could know about. For example, they turn the hot water off in the summer in Russia. You may not know that on Google, so Google wouldn't pick up that result, and the Yandex search result would. And I checked, they actually have an English language search engine, Yandex. I decided to check it out. Now, one of the things we know about Google is that they have recently announced that they are going to try to steer people away from certain topics. And for example, if someone wants to learn something that probably not in the best interest of the overall society to learn, they may show them counter examples and not show them the search result they want. They may show them something that says why you shouldn't do what you're looking to do online. Now, that's basically interfering with the search results, and obviously they believe that they're performing some type of social service by doing so, or public service. But I was wondering how they would take that. You could take what you view as public service a bit far. You may say that it's a public service to prevent catastrophes or to prevent people from doing things that maybe might cause harm. But we do know that the Google was supporting Hillary Clinton for president. So I decided to look up what they would say about Hillary Clinton. So I typed in, what is the worst thing Hillary Clinton has ever done? Now, any politician, if you typed in, you can find, I'm sure, things that they have done wrong. Interestingly enough, Google had the first top 3 search results were all the terrible things Hillary Clinton had done. Now, that's kind of a misleading topic headline, because that story goes through all the conspiracy theories about what Hillary Clinton has done wrong. So it's not really a criticism or a list of things she's done wrong. It lists she killed Vince Foster. She had that Hillary Clinton, that Chelsea Clinton's father is not Bill Clinton. These are the types of conspiracy theories, not things that are actually proven facts, that things that Hillary Clinton has done wrong. Politico had this. The second search result was, what's wrong with Hillary? And again, this is not really a list of all the things she's done wrong. If you read the article in Politico, it talks about why she may be a weak candidate, how she's not able to define herself. This was written during the campaign versus Bernie Sanders. It doesn't go all out and say all the things she's done wrong. It mentions why she may not be the best candidate. But then what I found interesting was the third search result was exactly the opposite of what I was looking for. It says, what is Hillary Clinton's greatest accomplishment? Well, I'm looking for what's the worst thing she's done. I'm not looking for a list of all the great accomplishments. Well, you go in there, and that article goes through a really thorough list of the things that Hillary Clinton has done, citing Chuck Schumer, saying she's the most qualified person ever. So you see what Google has done. They have not given you what you're looking for. These first two don't really tell you the worst thing that Hillary Clinton has ever done. Granted, you can find things in people's opinion that she's done wrong, but you don't find them. You don't find her critics in this search result saying what she's done wrong. Indeed, you find what the great things she's done. Now, I went over to Yandex, the Russian site, the Russian search result, And here they list first a Salon article, which is not generally favorable, is a left-wing a news outlet. However, they do trash her in this particular article, talking about some of the bad things she's done. This search result was kind of strange. In the second one, Mike Huckabee, who will blame Hillary Clinton, has blamed Hillary Clinton, but this article is about the worst things Obama has done. And then this next one, 15 stupidest things Hillary Clinton has ever said. Well, that makes sense to be in these search results. Here's Hillary Clinton as one more badly behaved, and Hillary Clinton is an alcoholic. So I would say if you're looking for negative things about Hillary Clinton, you would find them on Yandex, and you're not going to find them on Google, it seems. So now you say, well, of course, Google is favorable towards Hillary Clinton, which a search engine is not supposed to be. It's supposed to present what you're looking for. Then you say, well, Yandex, of course, they worked in the campaign against her, so they're going to put up bad stuff. But let's see how they dealt with Vladimir Putin. Google, what's the worst thing Vladimir Putin has ever done? Well, the first one is he's a war criminal. Then the next one is 21 things you need to know about him. Here are some of the worst things he's ever done. They talk about he's killed more people than ISIS in Syria. Really nasty things about Vladimir Putin. And this one got cut off, but I added, here's a list of abuses in Vladimir Putin's Russia. So if you want to get the dirt on Vladimir Putin, Google will serve it up. They won't serve it up on Hillary Clinton, but they'll serve it up on Putin. Now you say, well, what's Yandex going to say? The Russian search engine, are they going to serve it up? Yeah. Why is Vladimir Putin regarded as a bad guy? It's one of the same search results that come up here. Now, they don't have the war criminal one, so I suspect that Yandex, even though it supposedly has this new artificial intelligence, probably does the manual pullout because they don't have the war crime. Although, this article here, why is Vladimir Putin considered a bad guy? You read that article, it lists some very bad things about Vladimir Putin. What's the worst Vladimir Putin joke you've ever heard? It seems a little tame compared to if you're looking for what's the worst thing he's ever done. They give you the worst. But then again, this is English language, Yandex, who knows? And then these two articles they're not really unflattering towards Vladimir Putin. They're more about why Americans or certain Americans like Vladimir Putin. But at least they did give him up here. I mean, this article right here is about as bad as you can get. It goes through a lot of bad things that Putin has done. So interesting, the Russian Yandex Google search engine seems to give you a more objective result for what you're looking for, because here you don't get anything bad about Hillary Clinton. You get constructive criticism in this article. This, you get a list of conspiracies that about why people don't like Hillary Clinton, and this one tells you why she's been the greatest candidate that we've had in the history of American politics. And then, of course, Yandex gives some articles about why Hillary Clinton has done some bad things, and then the same with Vladimir Putin. Google trashes Putin, and Yandex gives a decent trashing. Not as this is what you should get, I think, when you search. If you want all the bad things about Vladimir Putin, you want these articles right here. So Google does a good job here. Yandex does an okay job here, but Google fails right here. You do not find out bad things about Hillary Clinton here, other than conspiracy theories, and then why she's a so-so candidate, and then here you find out why she is just wonderful. Okay, let's get into the gold and silver stories of the week. I'm going to keep going down. I'll say gold closed slightly up. Silver closed slightly down. Gold closed at 12.90. Silver closed at 17.05. The gold silver ratio is about the same. Although the week, it looks like nothing happened during the week, but as we'll see later, it was a pretty volatile week for gold and silver, even though they ended up about where they started the week. If you enjoy these types of reports, please consider donating to Smaulgld via PayPal, via Bitcoin, via Litecoin at the links below. Consider becoming a patron also, and you can do that below and also on the Smaulgld site. There it is right there. I've opened up a VidMe account, so please follow me there, because once I get 50 followers, I can load up longer videos. I can only go up to a half an hour on the, and I can't monetize until I have 50 followers. So please help me out and go to the VidMe. The link is on the Smaulgld site, and you just click follow and we're good to go. Thank you for that. Let's get back to the gold and silver now. There's your gold silver ratio. Oh, here's the tweets of the week. This is where I found out about this search engine. It says, will they turn off the hot water in the summer? Google doesn't know, but Yandex does. And there's it. You can click on that link. You can get a YouTube on how that search engine Yandex works. Now here's Treasury Secretary Mnuchin. He's holding the one last bar of gold at the Fort Knox. Now he did visit Fort Knox with McConnell on the day of the total eclipse. And there's the U.S. Mint showing our Treasury Secretary holding a bar of gold. Now, interestingly enough, Germany, we're going to talk about this in a sec, also made a big deal over the fact that they finally completed the repatriation program. They had got their gold request 2014, I think, they wanted to bring home gold from London, Paris, and New York. The New York Fed was holding some of their gold, London was holding some of their gold, and so was Paris, and they had announced they wanted to get it back. There was a big controversy of why it was going to take so long. Well, now they're saying they've gotten it all back, and more than half of their gold reserves are now in the United States after they got that last bit back from Paris. They're going to leave some in London, they're going to leave some in New York, but they realize that they don't need to leave it in Paris because Paris is France and they're part of the euro, and basically geographically in any invasion, as we've learned in World War II, Paris is a pretty easy target. It's getting over the channel that may be difficult, so maybe they keep some gold in London. Also, gold in London. London's a very liquid exchange, so they feel comfortable leaving some there, and then of course leaving some excuse me, at the New York Fed. All right, so big week in the cryptocurrencies, as I mentioned. Coinbase just adding 500,000 accounts in just a week. They're at 9.7 accounts. There's a story here. I couldn't find any congressional history on it. Congress considers validating Bitcoin. It was in the Daily Caller. Didn't mention the congressman's name. Didn't mention who they were. There was nothing in the congressional record I could find, so I will follow up on that. Major oil producing regions move to adopt blockchain in their operation. You can click on that, check that out. That talks about Dubai and the other countries in the region. Now, U.S. Mint sales update. Again, they are not selling much. We're almost done with the month. We've got next week, and that's it. And basically, 425 American Silver Eagles sold month to date, and just 6,000 1-ounce American Gold Eagles. So clearly, there is a drop-off in U.S. Mint demand. Now, U.S. Mint demand has never been that great of a percentage of overall gold demand. Gold demand is basically at the central bank level at Russia, China, Kazakhstan, and lately Turkey, and then also private citizens in India and China are the big gold consumers. Americans are not really that big gold consumers. They have been in recent years large silver consumers, but in the grand scheme of things, even at the top of the peak in 2015, American Silver Eagle sales were still in single-digit percentages of overall silver demand, and now they're probably down around 1%. But still, it highlights that the American gold and silver demand is now extremely low. Over in the Perth Mint demand is better. It's actually interesting that the Perth Mint, which is a much smaller mint in the last couple of months, has been selling more gold and silver than the U.S. Mint. And I'm going to put out next week the Canadian Mint. The Canadian Mint has taken an equal dive. They finally released their second quarter results. I'll post those with charts during the week, but you can see they've taken a big dump in sales on gold and silver. If you're interested in buying gold or silver, you can do so through the Smaulgld site at BJSC, Golden Eagle Coins, SD Bullion, Money Metals Exchange. These are links that will take you to those websites. It's not investment advice to buy gold or silver, but if you do buy, Smaulgld gets a small commission, and you can compare pricing and shipping at these dealers if you want to buy gold or silver. There's your banner telling you to do the same. Okay. Now, here's the story. I got to link this for you better, but federal and state politicians take a tour of the gold depository. I can put this one up because this one has a video of them touring it. And again, touring the Fort Knox doesn't really prove anything. They can show pictures of the gold, but it's not audited. You don't know what there's just people standing in front of piles of gold. Although it's been the first time, however, that any U.S. officials have visited the gold at Fort Knox. Last time a group of congressmen went in the 70s. and then it hasn't been audited since the 50s. Interestingly enough, though, you had these two stories out. Why? I don't know. You can theorize. You can leave your you can leave your comments below as to why the United States Treasury Secretary decided to visit Fort Knox now, and that Germany decided to announce the next day that they had brought their gold home. Now, some say it's got nothing to do with gold, that Mnuchin and his wife just wanted to go stand on the roof of Fort Knox because it happened to be in the path of the total eclipse. Don't know, but interesting. Those two things happened in the same week. Here's the story here if you want to click on it and check it out. Go to the Smaulgld website. I'll leave the link below. Two-bedroom flat worth 60,000 pounds becomes first in country to be bought using digital currency. So it wasn't bought with Bitcoin. It was bought with these Scott coins. I was on SGT report during the week. I posted that on Smaulgld with Sean. Generally topics I don't discuss, but we were talking about Charlottesville becoming the flashpoint for censorship. And in the wake of the Charlotte episode or event, we saw a lot of large corporations decide that they're going to fight the hate by donating to the Southern Law Poverty Center. And we discussed that and discussed how the companies that are doing so are kind of the gatekeepers of the internet and have the power to close down accounts and silence people who disagree with them. Not just those on the far extremes, but those who may be considered just conservative or Christian. And the Wall Street Journal had an editorial about JP Morgan's hate list. They also gave, in addition to Google and Apple and George Clooney, to the Southern Law Poverty Center, they gave $500,000 to this organization. German central bank, we mentioned, completed their 24 billion euro worth of gold move. They brought it back from France. Interestingly enough, though, both the United States and Germany making a big deal over the fact that that Germany brought their gold home, and that the U.S. indeed has gold at Fort Knox. I think it's about 4,600 of the 8,100 tons that they claim to have. But interestingly enough, with both, while the United States, even if you assume everything is correct, they went there, they looked at it, said, yeah, it's all there. There's 4,600 tons there. We know we have 8,100 tons. The United States has not added any gold since they've been losing gold. They lost gold after Bretton Woods. They lost gold during the entire period where they were, other than the initial deposit, when they were required under the Bretton Woods Agreement to exchange central banks' dollars for gold. So France and Switzerland and Germany would come and they'd bring their dollars that they had accumulated in international trade and say, give us the gold. And the United States gave the gold. So the United States gold reserves dropped, I think it was about 16,000 tons at one point. They lost about half of it during that period and haven't added any since. And Germany too, they made a big deal about getting the gold back. However, they've been selling gold since 2002. Not a lot, but about 4 tons a year, and they're doing that because they I did an article here, it was on Zero Hedge. They're selling gold back to the government so the government can mint gold coins. But still, we don't see Western central banks adding gold. We see them making a big deal about getting it back. The Netherlands did that. They repatriated their gold. I think Belgium wanted to repatriate gold. But Switzerland sold 60% of their gold in the 2000s. United Kingdom, Brown's bottom. England sold a good portion of their gold in 2000s. So Western banks are not adding gold to their reserves. Even the two largest, Germany and the United States, they're showing the world that they have gold. They're making a public statement about it, but they're not saying they're buying any. Here's an interesting story. You want to click on a gold toilet in the Guggenheim. We'll have its final flush. You want to see, check that out. The pictures won't go away, but you won't be able to go to the Guggenheim Museum in New York and see this gold toilet bowl. China's biggest Bitcoin exchange are facing scrutiny over how idle client funds are put to use. Very interesting. This is one of the reasons that the SEC did not approve of the Bitcoin ETF, because a lot of good percentage of Bitcoin trading occurs on unregulated Chinese exchanges. This one's interesting. I don't know the name of the exchange. It might be OK Coin or Huobi or whatever. They don't charge for transaction fees. Well, that's strange. And how do they make their money? Well, apparently it looks like the way they make their money is you send them the money, you buy your coins, you sell your coins, and then you have a cash balance, and then they play with the cash balance. They try to make money off the cash balance. They leave, they say, let's say you have $1,000. They take your $1,000. They do. I don't know what they do with it, but it doesn't just sit there, apparently, and that's what they are looking into. Economic data, mortgages, where housing market seems to be slowing down, not in price, but in actual sales of new and existing homes. Existing homes are down, and so are new homes. Now the story, cryptocurrency. Will Estonia be the first country to issue a digital currency? I don't know. There's others lining up. I mean, they're saying that Russia and China are working on perhaps Ethereum-based currencies. The Federal Reserve is looking at, not necessarily in issuing a digital currency, but they're looking at that. Did a story on this. They have a faster payments initiative that's been going on for a few years, and one of the proposals, doesn't mean it'll be the one that wins, is in order to get faster currencies, you can issue this thing called FedCoin. But they're not expected to complete their analysis till 2022. I would suspect by then there will at least be 1, 2, 3, or 4, half a dozen countries that do have a digital currency. And here's another story. Germany repatriates the $31 billion in gold from Paris and New York. Saudi Arabia, de-dollarization, and China plan $20 billion investment fund. So you see China likes Saudi Arabia too. China is buying more oil from Saudi Arabia. And, you know, the United States doesn't need as much oil from Saudi Arabia as it used to. Why? Shale oil. The United States is now a major oil exporter too, competing with Saudi Arabia. Just keep that in mind as you look at the relationships between China, Saudi Arabia, China and Russia, US and Saudi Arabia, and the petrodollar in general. Saudis may seek funding in yuan. So Saudi Arabia is becoming less important geopolitically because their main thing was oil. But, you know, Russia has a lot of oil. The United States now has a lot of oil. And we'll see how it goes. And also China now needs a lot of oil, whereas 40 years ago, they didn't. There's your existing home sales, as I mentioned, down just like new home sales. I did an interview during the week with Rory Hall. You want to check that out, of the Daily Coin. He is of the view that cryptocurrencies are basically there to run interference and to distract people, to get them interested in digital currencies, even allow them to make money, but as part of ushering in a cashless society and rolling up everything under one banner. So you want to check that out. Gold. Okay, this is the typical thing. You guys have probably seen this before, but look at that. Everything's going fine. Yellen's going to speak over here. So, you know, just in case Yellen speaks at Jackson Hole and says something that's going to drive the price of gold up, well, can't have that. Boom. 27.75 contracts sold all at once. Take it down. Only good news is it went back up where it was, and then it continued to rise higher, but it basically capped it, wasn't allowing it to get to 1300, which it probably would have done. It was moving up steadily. It had gone up, and that's not oh, look at that. That's gone up a little bit too much, and then boom. Wins out of the sale, comes back up, but doesn't manage to get its mojo back and get over 3,000. So as mentioned, Yellen spoke at Jackson Hole, but she didn't discuss monetary policy. So nothing to talk about. If the trend was up, it continued up, but the damage was already done with that one blast right there. Bam. Never saw that before. More US economic data. And then here, Central Bank of Papua New Guinea embraces blockchain in effort to help the unbanked. So we're seeing a lot of blockchain, we're seeing a lot of crypto, and we're seeing some movement in the gold and silver market. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to you during the week.